Oh boy, oh boy. AMC is back on everyone's radar. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Doc. It is 5 p.m. on May 14th, 2024. And we're talking about AMC again. Just like a perfect ex-girlfriend, they know when to call the second you seem to forget about them. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? So what's going on? So we had a bit of a run-up on AMC. Just a bit of it. Bit of a run-up, right? We went from like 3 and change, and then we topped that around 13 overnight. So let's break it down and examine what's going on, right? AMC recently had earnings, and they just completed a $250 million buyback, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Anyway, a lot of talk, buzz about it. You can pin it on a tweet or some type of catalyst, but here we are. The attention is on AMC. 8 is going to be our magic number. Remember the number 8. And I'm not just pulling that out of nowhere. We'll break it down in a second. So let's just examine it first. We had a little bit of a run-up yesterday, a little bit of an inkling, and then a pop overnight, and then a retrace. If we go to the daily, we can see that just didn't just come out of nowhere, and it's not just hinged on that one tweet that everyone seems to be focused on. And I really believe that AMC was the main draw here. Anyway, we have the price action coming down, right? Steadily, we could clearly see the price action coming down. We look at the RSI is making new higher lows. And then most recently, within the past month or so, we have this interesting new higher low, and not so much reflected on the price action. And then finally, the pop right here. So why number 8, right? We're looking at the technical graph, and we can see here that 11 seems to be a nice area of resistance, and I think we hit 13 overnight, which was this little area of resistance. Why number 8? Why does that keep coming up? Well, it has to do with one of my favorite tools that I've been using for the past year. It's called Quant Trading App, otherwise known as QTA. QTA measures levels and ranges using calculations based upon quantitative method, and it also now offers GEX, gamma exposure. Now, when we look at gamma exposure, we're looking at strike levels here. We have 1, 5, and then because of the split that happened, it's got a little all over the place, 5, 6, 6, 6.2, 6, 3. But 8 seems to be this high level here. Why 8? It's because on the options chain, 8 is the highest number that they're allowing it, except for the monthly OPEX. So let's back up and slow this down a little bit. What is GEX? What is gamma exposure? You can go and look on the definition and find that it's how the amount of the underlying moves to take to $1. What we're going to be using is how to trade with it, right? So we're measuring a high level of liquidity here, which is an area where the market kind of wants to bring it to. It's not saying that it's going to go there. It's just we want to take notice of this is a high liquidity area. Now, if we look at the call volume and the call and the open interest and things like that, we can see that other areas kind of lend a hand in this high liquidity area. The absolute GEX is also at this level 8. Now, if this run continues, in which I'm guessing that it should for a little while, we should see a change in the options chain. Say that again. A change in the options chain where that more strikes are going to be offered above level 8 and level 12 and 13. We can already see that starting to trickle in, but if this goes on through next week, we should see more levels. I selected on the June, there was one, June, sorry, the 14th. Nope. On the 21st, that was it. There we go. The 21st. There's the 20 expiration. This also has the highest open interest. So a lot of people have the same idea as I did. Just go high and go long and then hold your options. This is going to create a longer area of attraction up to that level 20. So what is the importance of 8? 8, if we suppress this and hold over this 8 line, right now we're at 750 trading. If we open tomorrow and seem to hold that 8 level and start climbing there, we're going to try to start looking at a gamma squeeze. And a gamma squeeze is going to be a lot easier to happen once that options chain blows up and we have more possible calls to the higher side. Right now, this is not financial advice. This is just the way I'm looking at it. I could be totally wrong, but this is AMC doesn't owe me anything, right? From the last run up, the last circus act that we had between AMC and GMC, which was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but getting back into, again, we learned a few things, and so did the institution. So we're going to be looking to hold over the level 8 and then go from there. Using the GEX levels, we can then see where the attraction is, where the liquidity is, and then place our trajectory along those levels. Now, the reason why GEX is used is not just for these circumstances with these anomalous run-ups and everything. We use it all day, every day for things like, mostly I use it for large caps like Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft. And in the Discord for QTA, there is a whole gamma exposure channel system right here. So we have the SPY 0DTEs and the ones I just mentioned, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA. There, we can get into another video, but this one was mainly for my AMC guys and girls out there. You know, we've been through a lot, right? We were coming down from, I'm not even going to go all the way back to where we were up to. We came down, we found a level around like 3 and change. And okay, I was like, okay, we found the bottom, and now we might be looking into, there's nowhere to go but up, right? But then we came out that split. When that was announced, it started to drop. And then where did we find the level land? Right around just below 3. Trading was just lying flat in the grave, and now we're rising from that grave. Nowhere to go but up, right? So take this with a grain of salt. Don't take this as an investment advice, but just remember the level 8. And then once we get above that 13 level, we should then start getting to the double digits. And I'm saying that this is going to happen, but I'm just saying if it's going to happen, mark off your levels. I'm going to turn the high beams on now, right? Bam. So we have this one bit of a gap to, let's see, around, I think, like 13 or 14 up to, I guess, 20 or so. That'll be our first gap. Getting through that, then a little more hesitation, and then a little bit of a fair value gaps over here, and then just follow the gaps. Follow the yellow brick road, follow the gaps all the way up to whatever your heart desires. And if we look at the options chain, this is on the advanced GEX area on QTA, where here you can select any of your expiration dates that are on the options chain and create your own individualized report. If we select all of them and we click submit, we'll get a report with all the expirations that are on the options chain right now for AMC. And it looks something like this. Where do you know? There's your 8 level that we talked about, and then this is the 20. I think 27 is the highest one that I saw, but right now the most populous, the most voluminous is this level 8. This is more of a local level. And then the further out you go, the higher the apes go. I'm one of them. We go up to 20. I have 20 for July or June 21st, sorry. And I closed my $8 calls this morning to fund it. So another big question is options or shares? Which one is the way to go? I have a theory that if anyone that was wanting to get into AMC and stick with AMC, if they just had stuck with shares, bought and hold shares, we'd have a lot different of a story. But instead, a lot of people try to get the options, that they get to those Friday expirations, and you get a spike early in the week, and then it dips towards that Friday. We all remember that happened right after the 21 run-up. They were thinking that it was going to spike again, so they just options on Friday. Friday didn't work. Next Friday. And it just drained everyone's bank accounts, or at least the people that I was hanging out with. So look at this big gap in here, right? So everyone's either going to look local to beat that $8 mark, and then they're just going to go out long and high at that 20. So this big gap in between matches up with our gaps on the chart here. So there's almost like a no man's land here, right? So we should see, once we start getting going here, if we start getting going, we should see a little bit of a fly up. Now this all hinges on holding over that level 8, and I would think that level 13 also is the next important level. Holding above that is a good sign for higher. Running into that would just be like running into a brick ceiling right now. So I marked off this particular level here, and let's just take a second and examine where we ran up and where we came back down to. If I turn off the extended hours, we can see a nice gap. This was yesterday, ran up, we closed, we gapped up overnight, and where did we run back down to? Right to yesterday's high. We're using yesterday's high as a support. That's a good bullish sentiment. Now let's look at the indicators. The indicators have reset. They've come down. They're holding above the 50 mark. That's a bullish standpoint. The MACD is staying in the bullish territory. It didn't cross that zero barrier. Even though the histograms are now red, you can make a case that they're maybe on their way back up. If we go on the smaller time frames, you could see a little even more of that thing that we just talked about. But the RSI is staying positive. The MACD is staying above the zero barrier in the bullish territory. These are all good signs. And if we look on the 15-minute here, we almost had a double bounce on this support, which was resistance yesterday, is now support. That's one of the best things you look for. When you see a break and you see a retest and a hold of that level, that's a good sign that the continuation could be in our future. I don't want to say going to be in our future, but it's something to look forward to. It's exciting times, right? It's just like when the lottery gets up to like $400 billion, you get a lottery ticket. If you don't normally play the lottery, you go out and you get yourself a ticket and you kind of play along. So this isn't something that you want to take a second mortgage out on the house. You don't want to risk your kids' college funds or anything, but it's fun to play along. As long as we realize that this isn't your normal type of investing. This has a lot of 50-50 to it, or even more of a swing. It's a gamble. If you go into it knowing that there's an inherent risk or more inherent risk than normal, and you adjust your risk accordingly, then you should be okay. If you look at it as something to make a little extra fun money on the side, great. If you're banking your next 20 years of mortgage payments on this move, that would be a poor decision. So do everything in a stride. Take every data point as a grain of salt. Like what I'm telling you right now, take as one data point. Take an email, because I look at my email right now and it's all AMC is back, GME is back. Here we go again. All this, fodder and stuff. I haven't even turned on the CNBC today, but I'm sure they touched upon it too. And use your own theories. And I do invite you to check out the QTA community. It is a community that has many different areas of expertise. There is a lot of SPX traders in here. We have a whole options spread that people post about, and the GEX is mainly, I like to use it on the top 5: NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Tesla. There's a lot of people that use the SPX, and right now Bryant, the creators, we're in the beta stages of the SPX trade engine. That's coming along. I'm not even going to speak on that because it's still in beta, but a lot of fun things happening here for QTA. If you want to come by and check it out, there is a public area. I post in there often, and it's a gold enthusiast area. But if you want to check it out, use the code DNOW30. It'll be available in the description, and use that. It's your first month. They'll get you 30% off to try it out. And when you join, come find me. I'll be in public chat or the gold enthusiast area. We'll get you set up, get you squared away. We'll show you how all these tools get used. But for today specifically, AMC using the GEX is going to be very interesting to notice where these gamma squeezes can trigger. The first one would trigger to 8. We go through that big gap, and then 20 would be the next one. I'm going to be watching next week on how the options chains will be expanding. Well, they should be expanding. And you'll see those familiar numbers that we remember seeing a few years ago, like the 100 strike, or at least, a 70, 50. 50 would be nice, a 50 strike. Remember, there's a ways to go because we had a split. So that 72 is no longer there. I think the high was 72, right? Now it's up to 390. So now it's a lot more room to go because this has all been visited already. These are all levels. If I turn these on, oh, we haven't even touched this yet. These are all old levels from where we used to be down in the 70s. But keep this in mind that it's not your normal type of trading. It's not your normal type of investing by any means. But it should be looked at as a gamble as well as a calculated move. So if you have those two things in mind, come join us in the public chat of Quant Trading app. Use the code DNOW30, and we'll get you set up and started. Or hang out in public. Just hang out and share your theories here, and we can have a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and get notified. You hit the bell because I don't really do this on a particular schedule. And I'd like to see you see you in comments and let me know any feedback. Give me your theories and what you'd like to see next time. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.